I fully believe that like somebody could come in with an iPhone and iMovie and get a million views of video. Like, to be honest, it's bull crap for people to make excuses for themselves saying, I don't have this, I don't have this, can't do this. So you're not coming up with good enough ideas. 2023 was Grant's like rise. 2024 was Grant starting to start to figure out how to dominate. And I think 2025 is the year of Grant. Like Grant, a lot of people probably think I'm crazy saying this, but I think Grant has so much more potential than Bryson.
Our guest today on the Scratch Golf Show, Nate Edwardson. Nate started his YouTube journey in the fitness space, ultimately found a niche in YouTube golf coverage and commentary, and ran with it. He's grown his channel from 0 subscribers to over 35,000. Love him or hate him, his growth on YouTube has been super impressive. In today's interview, we cover his thoughts on the Grant versus Bryson in 2025, the future of YouTube golf, and much, much more. If you're new here to the Scratch Golf Show, welcome to the channel. My name is Marco. We mainly focus on interview-style videos with YouTube golf content creators and PGA Tour caddies. If you could do me a favor and hit that subscribe button below. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the start of the Masters in April. Like the video, leave a comment for your favorite part, and enjoy the interview with Nate. For old Mr. Nate Edwardson. Nate, thanks for jumping on, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, first off, thanks for jumping on the show. I know we've been trying to do this for a while and coordinate everything. Glad we were finally able to get it sorted, man. But to start, obviously I'm very familiar with your content, but for the people who maybe don't know who you are, just tell me a little bit about you, your channel, and how you got into YouTube. Because I know you started doing some stuff before the golf side, which I'm curious to hear about.
Totally, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, so my background before golf, I only started golfing in 2021, summer of 21, so I'm still pretty new to golf relatively. But before that, I was coaching at a CrossFit gym. And around 2019, I discovered YouTube. Well, around 2017, 2018, I discovered it. When I say discovered it, I mean realized it was more than cat videos and epic mealtime.
Yeah.
That there were creators who made content intentionally for the platform. And so I fell in love with a guy named Casey Neistat. He was daily vlogging at the time. He's an OG in the space. And it just struck something in my brain of I don't know why, but that feels like something I would like doing. So out of the blue, I just started making these daily vlogs on a channel with no views, no subscribers.
Yeah.
I daily vlogged every other day for 100 days and then every day for 100 days. All of those videos got less than 100 views each. I had less than 100 subscribers. Nobody's watching them. But I really fell in love with the process of creating. Yeah. And so I ended up getting pretty lucky. I got an opportunity to work at a gym and do their social media. That was my first time kind of professionalizing it. And then I had made some connections in the CrossFit athlete world. Jump forward a couple years, I had an opportunity to do a series that I was really passionate about, a documentary series. So I kind of took that channel where I had all those videos with no views, and I started uploading these long form documentaries about CrossFit athletes, and they took off. First one I did was my first video to crack 1,000 views, and it got I think 36,000 views in a day. And then it was 100,000 views, 100,000 views. These were movies that were getting a ton of views. And so from that point on, man, I jumped ship. I quit coaching at a gym and I just went full time on YouTube, and I've been full time on YouTube since September of 2019. And so December of 22 was when I started the golf channel. Very similarly, I just kind of had an idea. Yeah. Posted a video on a channel with 0 views, 0 subscribers.
Yep.
Within 48 hours, I had 56,000 views. And I was boom. And so I kind of accidentally stumbled into the YouTube golf commentary world. I kind of just started it because it was when the good breakup happened, I personally was I don't understand this. Why would they leave a big group? I didn't know as much about the space. I was but I was a YouTuber, and I was this feels like such a good opportunity. Good at the time was, the biggest group. Yeah. And pulling tons and tons of views. So why would you leave that? And so I made a video talking about that. It did really well. If there's one thing I'm good at, I think it's identifying things I'm good at. And so once I realized that was working, and I know I'm a good orator and commentator and interviewer and talker and all that kind of stuff. So I was all right, let's just move this. Golf was my passion. I still love working out, but golf was definitely more of my passion than CrossFit was. So again, I basically went all in on the golf channel, stopped making videos on the CrossFit channel, and 2 years later now I've been doing the golf scene. So that's kind of my background.
You are full time on YouTube. I didn't know you were full time on YouTube. I thought you had and I don't want you to take offense to that. That's not a bad thing.
No,
I just thought you had a full time job.
Nope.
That's awesome, man.
I've never had a real job ever.
That's awesome. You're married, right? You just recently?
Yeah, 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, summer of 21. So
that's awesome.
This year
dude.
was summer of 2022.
Hopefully the wife doesn't. I don't think she'll watch this. But
she won't. No. 2 years.
For sure,
man.
man.
It was 2 years this past July. So
that's awesome, dude. Congratulations. I just got married in May. Been with my girlfriend, or my at the time for a couple years, but we've been living together for 3 years now. So it's we've been married for whatever. But congratulations, man. That's awesome. So I know you mentioned, have you ever thought about getting back into like the fitness side? I don't know a ton about working out YouTube. I'm primarily golf and sports, but is there like a big niche? I'm sure there is, but on like CrossFit and all that type of style videos?
There was. CrossFit's definitely become a little less popular online.
Yeah.
And I just say that because like there used to be a group of creators. There was like 3 or 4 of us that were all making full-time living just off CrossFit content. There was one guy, Craig Ritchie, who was like the biggest of the big, and his videos would consistently pull, over 100,000 views on commentary videos. And then he would do kind of vlog videos where he'd go film with athletes, and those would get like 200,000 to 400,000 views.
Yeah.
But in the last couple of years, CrossFit's kind of, just like their Google SEO has kind of gone down a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think I haven't been following it super closely, but there's a lot of, ups and downs within the organization. And I think the sports side of it's taken a bit of a hit because of that. And so there's a couple creators right now that are still killing it. One guy, Andrew Hiller, in CrossFit is still killing it, but he's pretty much, I think, the only one right now. I don't really follow it super closely. I've watched some of his videos.
For sure.
But, yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. It's tough because, for me, I would love in a perfect world to be able to also make videos about CrossFit, but to be honest, I don't, because I just don't follow it closely enough. Yeah. I've kind of tried over the last 2 years to like keep that channel going with some stuff, because obviously like that channel I think still has like 22,000 subscribers or something like that. So I don't want to just like, it's my channel. It's the one I started vlogging on. So it's right. I can do what I want. I posted random stuff on there. That will always be like a personal channel.
Yeah.
But I would like to do more fitness stuff, but it's just like, I don't know. The reason why I don't go back and do commentary videos is just because I don't know enough about CrossFit anymore. Like I used to know as much about CrossFit as I do about YouTube golf, but I just don't, because I don't follow it. So I don't want to be an imposter and like saying things. Sure. I've tried over the last 2 years. I've tried to be like, hey, here's some things. And every video I've been like, this sucks. And so I've either like not posted it or deleted it. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, for sure. So I try to stick to like, what I know.
Well, you found your niche, right? I mean, that's similar to me. Like, when I started my channel, I for me, I love YouTube. Like, I've been into YouTube forever. Like, whether it was, for me, it was gaming. Like, I used to watch Fortnite way back in the day. I'm a huge golfer. Like, I've golfed my whole life. You can tell I got my, some putters behind me. I'm a decent player. I've played my whole life. But like YouTube, like I was always into YouTube. And then once Good came around and COVID hit, right, kind of when YouTube golf took off, I was already on YouTube. And I was like, found Good and started watching them. And then after the Sharp hole-in-one, right, it kind of blew up. And for the longest time, I'm 30 now, I'll be 31 here, which I don't want to broadcast that. But like for the longest time, I thought about doing my own channel, right? Golf, playing golf, whatever. I never wanted to do it. Didn't want to have the, didn't want to put the effort in, didn't want to do it. Then my wife, famous, I always tell the story. My wife, I talk about it all the time. She literally told me like, shut the fuck up and do it already. So I did it, started doing it in April of this year. And I love it, man. Some of you, I love the process. Transition a little about your channel, man. So I know you mentioned you kind of started covering YouTube golf. You've now transitioned into more on-course stuff, which has been crazy that you started golf like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and you're now competing in tournaments, which has been cool. But so like, how did you get from, I'm going to cover like the good breakup, right? Or like the drama to now I'm going to do commentary videos over like some of the biggest golf events. Like I know you did one with Grant Tacomo and obviously so on and so forth, but how have you evolved your channel, and kind of when was that moment of like, okay, now I need to transition because this part of my channel is maybe not doing as well or whatever?
I try to take things a day at a time, man. Like it sounds kind of cliche. I'm not a big goals guy. I'm not a big like big picture guy. Like I kind of like to just take things as they come. And first and foremost, like I want to enjoy what I'm doing. And if I stopped enjoying it, I wouldn't be able to do it. So, I try to do stuff that I enjoy. I definitely enjoy talking. I enjoy presenting.
Yeah.
I always have. Like I said, I'm kind of an orator. Like, it's what I like to do.
Yeah.
And so, there's always going to be, I think, a place for commentary style content. I think that is kind of still always going to be my bread and butter. But I started integrating interviews pretty early because that is something I did in the fitness space before too, and I knew that was something I could do well. And I'm very passionate about those. I think it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy meeting people, getting to talk to people.
Yeah.
I think I can do a good job with those. So that's kind of been a natural addition. The on-course stuff is. I dabble, golf is
it's tap, dude. It's so hard. It's so hard to get into that market, even if you already have an established channel, because of how good the top guys are. It's like you can't even compete in some of these spaces. And I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying in general,
No, for sure. I mean, it's a bit of that. It's a bit of just like, the reason I have had the success I've had is because I came into the YouTube golf scene doing something nobody else was doing.
Right.
So, and that's the advice I give to every creator. And, I say it on podcasts all the time is like, if you're going to succeed in the space, you have to do something nobody else is doing. And there's nothing in terms of playing golf that I really have any interest in doing that nobody else is doing. I have ideas, and I work with channels. I do some consulting stuff now. That's kind of come into play recently, and that's fun because I just
that's awesome. I saw that in an interview with Colt the other day.
Cool. Yeah, it's so fun, man. It's just like all my favorite parts of being a creator without any of the stress of actually having to like make the videos. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So but I can give those ideas to other people, and I'm good at coming up with ideas. But honestly, for me, like the cost benefit of like trying to really be a YouTube golfer versus just like having my YouTube golf channel where I get to do something I really love to do, like talk, commentate, interview people from the comfort of my own home. And then I still get to have, I train, I do the math like 12 times a week, probably between like gym stuff, golf stuff. Like most days are double days for me. Like I treat it like a professional athlete. I compete in tournaments, so that's over here too. So it's like, I get to kind of do both, and I don't need to combine them, if that makes sense. Like like you said, I tried filming some tournaments and stuff, and I enjoy it, but like, I don't know how much I enjoy it. Like I do kind of enjoy having these two things be separate. And, I think it'd be cool one day if I get so good at golf that like the content kind of comes with it. But until that point, like I'm happy to just kind of keep the two things.
Yeah, no, man, I agree. When I started this, like I said, I'm a +1, so I'm a pretty decent golfer. So naturally that's half the battle is like, no offense, like, especially now with where the YouTube golf is, like people just don't want to see like bad golfers. And I don't want
I would push back on that a little bit because, like, I fully believe that like somebody could come in with an iPhone and iMovie and get 1 million views a video.
You think so? See, I don't think so. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Like my example would be Sam Sulk. Like the fitness space before him was high effort montages, 4K cameras.
Yeah,
everything was like shot on a steady cam with 2 videographers, very much like YouTube golf is right now. And then along came this guy who literally filmed himself on his phone, 47-minute videos with no editing, and he started getting hundreds of thousands of views. He has 3.5 million subscribers. He's the biggest thing in fitness right now.
That's
and
crazy.
So like but he was doing something nobody else was doing. He was showing like a real raw behind the scenes look of this guy trying to make it in the bodybuilder space. So I'm not saying that exact formula would work, but YouTube, people get too stuck in thinking about YouTube golf as YouTube golf. YouTube golf is part of YouTube, and YouTube at its core is something that you absolutely can see. Mr. B started making videos on an iPhone, on a webcam. He even had an iPhone. He started making videos on a webcam, and he was getting hundreds of thousands of views on a webcam in his bedroom. So like, to be honest, it's bull crap for people to make excuses for themselves saying, I don't have this, I don't have this, can't do this. So you're not coming up with good enough ideas. Ideas are king. Nothing else matters.
For sure.
If you came up, think about it. If there's no Bob to Sports and you were the first person ever to go out and do like a taco challenge on a golf course, even if you filmed it on a potato, that's still interesting content. The tough part is, and where I do agree with you, it's hard for people to break through, is because there are only so many ways you can play golf. That's why I think we see a lot of the top creators moving more to collaborative content. and less to ideation-based content. Like, there's not a lot of new ideas coming out right now at the top of YouTube Golf in terms of challenges. Like, Good was so innovative for a long time with like ideas and challenges. But now it's like a lot of the ideas and challenges have been done and redone and redone and redone. So you see the videos that are succeeding the most are like, they're not unique ideas at all. They're 1v1 matches, but they're just 1v1 matches with Phil Mickelson, you know,
Tiger Woods, like right? As of today,
all these big guys. So, you know, that's the part where it's tough. And for a new creator, you know, to truly find something that's unique within the parameters of golf is tough. But, you know, I said in my interview with Cole, I think the next big creator in YouTube golf will be a Sam Sulek-based creator. It'll be someone who's doing something very different than what we see right now. It's going to be very raw, but it's going to be refreshing for people who are used to like being screamed at in 4K, you know, for an hour.
Yeah, that's fair, man. I've got some cool ideas. Like I've got an idea that I think could do well. It has been done by Rick Shields and a couple other guys, but I interview a lot of PGA Tour caddies. That's kind of where I got my start on the interviews. And like, I don't want to give too much away, but kind of, because like my idea is like interviewing, like I interview YouTubers. Obviously, those are the videos that do well, but I'd like to integrate the pro golf side and kind of corner that market, similar to what Foreplay's doing, even though they don't do a ton of YouTube interviews, mainly the pro side. But like, you know, getting a caddy, like a PGA Tour caddy involved in a video, I think would do really, really well. I know Rick has done one with Bones that did okay. Sorry to interrupt the interview with Nate. Just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our newest apparel sponsor here on the Scratch Golf Show. Super excited to be working with these guys, the Dynamite brands. It's a PGA Tour caddy-driven business, so it only makes sense for us to partner together. They make awesome apparel like this lightweight hoodie that I can wear all around the house, the heavyweight hoodie, which I love wearing around the cold times here in Michigan. Awesome hats like this with different color sticks, black or white options in the bucket hat, which I'm super excited to rock in Arizona. And really cool putter covers like this, and a ton of other stuff. Make sure you check them out, thedynamitebrands.com. The link will be in the description. Use code MARCO for 20% off your first time purchase. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video. Now, let's get back to the interview. But yeah, no, I agree, man. There's only so many different ways you can play golf, and I think we're seeing that. And you're much more, and the reason why I love what you do is you're obsessed with like YouTube, right? I know you talk about not just YouTube golf, the analytics and the studio and all the stuff, the back end stuff and all the process stuff. Like, I love that, but I'm not nearly as versed and just, you know, you just learn stuff over time, right? You've been doing YouTube for a long time. I've been doing this 8 months now. And so like, you just learn over time. But I think that is, it's very interesting. Let's talk a little bit about YouTube golf as a whole. I labeled this topic 2024 year in review, and I've got some other kind of question points or talking points behind this. But talk to me a little bit about just your overall thoughts on 2024, just where YouTube golf is at kind of right now, given, you know, the last 12 months. I mean, I feel like it's in a great spot because there's, I mean, you're seeing like Grant and Phil, like these pros are starting to get more involved, but I'm just curious your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, at the top, it's definitely interesting. I think there's been and continues to be for a little bit of a squeezing out of like a top 10 to like a top 3 or top 4. That will be the ones that get over 500,000 views a video, and then there's going to be a lot of people that start sitting around 50 to 150,000 views a video, and we're going to see a bit of like an A and B separation, you know, with some gray area exceptions in the middle. But I think that's something that's kind of new. I feel like there was, you know, more creators who were pulling more views before, whereas now it's a bit more concentrated, I feel like. Even though there are more creators overall, the top is getting tighter, I think. And, you know, what happened in 2024 when Bryson's channel really took off, he came in and immediately established himself as one of the biggest. Grant started to dominate. I said in my video today that 2023 was Grant's like rise. 2024 was Grant starting to start to figure out how to dominate. And I think 2025 is the year of Grant. Like Grant,
no, I agree.
Like a lot of people probably think I'm crazy saying this, but I think Grant has so much more potential than Bryson too, just because Bryson is a pro golfer, and at the end of the day, he has to spend a lot of his time doing pro golf stuff.
Right.
His channel is, you know, he's a limiting factor in that, whereas Grant is a full-time YouTuber, and Grant's a YouTuber. Bryson's a pro golfer, you know? Yeah. So on the YouTube front, I feel like Grant might still have a higher ceiling. It'll take him a while to catch Bryson. Like, obviously, Bryson's just bigger by name right now, but I would argue that Grant is one of the top 10 most famous people in golf right now to like a generation under the age of 40.
No, I agree. I agree personally. And I literally have a topic that just says Grant Horvat later. So but we can talk a little bit about it now. But no, I agree, man. I had Melosi on this probably a couple months ago now, and this was back when the Tony Finau and Grant video came out.
Yeah.
And Mo, obviously a Utah guy, has some mutual relationships or connections with Tony Finau, and he's like, dude, I've got people asking Tony Finau to take a picture of them and Grant versus like Tony Finau. And like, I don't know how plugged you are into the professional side. For me, like, I love the pro side, not so much anymore because it's just the state of pro golf is a disaster right now. But the YouTube side is crazy. But like that was crazy to me that like Grant is getting pictures instead of like a top 15, like multiple time PGA Tour winner. That's a bit crazy. No, I agree with you on Grant. I mean, he has changed the game, right? I mean, obviously when the Good breakup, when people were like, what the hell are you doing, right? Good is the best, right? And Grant, you've talked to him. I've never talked to him personally, but he must have had a vision. He knew, like, he saw the future of YouTube golf, and obviously he took a bet on himself and it's paid off. But I agree, man. This year is going to be, he's going to dominate. Like, I mean, it just shows because he only cares about putting out one of tens, right? Or just the top content for him. You've seen it, right? You saw the travel series or the match with Phil or the rematch with Phil or Colin Morikawa. It's like every video this guy puts out is insane. And today he dropped a video with Tiger Woods, which I didn't know what to expect when he posted it. I didn't think it would be a match. I figured it would be something similar to what the foreplay guys did with Tiger, but I mean, if that's how he's starting off the year, I can only imagine what else he's got. I know from a few people that I've talked to that there's a lot more coming based on what I've been told. So I'm really curious to see what Grant has in store. Because man, I like I said, I agree with you. I think this is going to be the year that he really, really separates himself from even like a guy like a Brian Bros, where like Brian Bros make great content, but Grant, I just feel like can get to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I think Brian Bros will probably surprise us this year a little bit. I think the match with Phil, the Wesley Phil match, was like, I think that was kind of like a moment where I'm like, I think they're pretty much going to be. It's tough to say, but I think they're going to have opportunities to be on the same level or very close to the same level as Grant. Grant's the biggest right now, but I do think they're going to be. I think they're going to be one of the. They are one of the premier groups in YouTube golf right now. I think they're definitely going to be one of the biggest this year as well. For sure.
I agree, and I talked to George about this, and it's like in a year where YouTube golf, like I said, was kind of declining from a viewership perspective, their channel took off. I mean, like I said, they were doing numbers, the skins game, the film match, and I agree. I think I wouldn't say there's a huge discrepancy. I mean, obviously from a subscriber count, right? I feel like people kind of get bogged down to that, but if you actually watch the content and understand golf as a whole, like the Brian Bros have some great connections. I'm curious, kind of your thoughts on like the ownership that Grant has in Tacoma. I know you obviously kind of talked about that in your channel and called it. I know you had the Instagram comment, which I found super cool, and you've been on a heater, the travel series, doing stuff like that. But like, what do you think about Grant getting involved? He's now an owner of two companies, right? Primo and Tacoma. Like, I guess that's crazy to me. I'm just curious, like, what do you think of that, and what do you think the future of that looks like? Are we going to see more ownership in these companies from these creators?
I don't know about from other creators more, but like the move on Grant's part is like, it's great. Like, Grant's getting into a level now that's different than what we've really seen in YouTube golf before, other than like Good's probably done the best job of becoming an entity, diversifying. They have an apparel company that sponsors athletes. They have, like a huge integrated deal with Callaway, like much different than just a club deal. And Grant's at that level now. Grant's at the level just like they are, where you can command different things. And for Grant, it's an opportunity to diversify. And that's like, I think a big thing for creators is like, Grant's really popular right now. And I think Grant can definitely keep making videos at a really high level for a long time. But one day Grant's going to be 40, and I don't know if Grant's going to want to still be doing this at 40, and he probably will have collabed with everyone at that point and whatever. So I think he sees and is intelligent to see that there's something, you want to have something else as a creator. Like a business or something else that's just a bit diversified that can kind of carry you past, because you might just wake up one day as a creator and just be like, I don't want to make videos anymore. Like, it could happen. So having something that you can kind of like build as you're still super relevant, that can last beyond, is like definitely a good thing to think about. And I think for Grant, it's like he doesn't need money. Like, he's got enough money right now. This is an
Yeah.
opportunity for him to, like, you know, take a different kind of money to set him up for the future, you know?
And also, like, he's married now. Like, you're married, I'm married. Like, he's going to want to have kids. And once you have kids, like, that travel is not as easy. It's not as, you know, it's another mouth, like the money, you know. So, and I imagine, like you said, like, I mean, it would shock me if Grant, like, you know, I don't know how old he is, but it, like, by the time he's said like mid-30s, he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to retire and run a business and just, you know, I've set myself up for life. I don't need to do this anymore. And like you said, that's okay. And I think we'll get to that point. I don't want to compare Grant to like to Tiger per se, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like Grant would be like a comparable, be like the Tiger Woods of YouTube golf right now. Like, we're seeing it in our own eyes of just like, you know, he obviously started in good and good, you know, blew up. But like what he's done over the past 2 years since leaving, it's just been insane. He's just like, it's like every time he just like resets the bar for a video, and now you got guys like Busted Jack or Luke Quan or whoever. It's like, damn, now I got to go compete. Like, that's yes, we're very good friends, but that's my competition. That's who I'm competing with for eyes and views and brands. It's crazy. And one thing I want to, and we can transition off Grant now because I don't want this to turn into like a Grant, you know, like just a Grant conversation, but like, what do you think are some channels that are pretty underrated in the space? I know you're obviously very well diversified in the space, and I have my own opinions, but what do you think are some of the underrated YouTube channels that kind of took off this year and have kind of not a Grant path, but, you know, are going to continue to make good content and take off into 2025?
Personally, I think the beautiful thing about YouTube is that it's so egalitarian. Like, it's so the audience truly does decide, you know, like platforms like TikTok, like people do think on YouTube you have to get lucky, but they're true. Like, YouTube's algorithm is so good and it's so attuned to like what people actually want to watch that there isn't a ton of luck involved. It's like on short form, you could probably argue that there is. TikTok, Instagram, I know less about their algorithms, but on YouTube, it's like truly, if you make a great video, people are going to watch it. And, you know, I think, you know, you can look at tons of examples like J&A when they were really small, like they came up with the car girl idea. They were the first ones to do that. And they all of a sudden, as a channel of like 20,000 subscribers, started getting literally like 400,000 views on these videos. So like, I truly don't think there's such a thing as being an underrated channel on YouTube. I think every YouTube channel is pretty appropriately rated, you know, like there's discrepancies in terms of like, you know, for example, like my channel will never be as big as Grant's channel because far less people are interested in YouTube golf commentary than they are in just watching a guy like Grant play golf, you know, and that's like, you know, I'm fully aware of that. I'm okay with that. But like, you know, it's just like there's far less, like Grant will never have a channel the size of Mr. Beast because nowhere near that many people care about golf. Like Grant's really limited himself by being a golfer, just like I've limited myself being a commentator, like whatever, but we all accept these things. So, you know, I don't think any channels are underrated. I think channels are appropriately rated. And I think what we saw happen this year is a few channels maybe that were a little higher come down a little lower. And that's appropriate because maybe their content got a little stale, maybe got a little repetitive. Maybe other people were making better content that was getting chosen over their content. So it's the market decides. And I think YouTube golf is is such a great example of like a free market system where it's just like the cream is always going to rise to the top. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter if you're making a great video, it's going to get seen. So,
yeah, no, I agree. That's a good way to view it. I mean, like I said, you are much more versed and expertise in the YouTube space than me. Like I said, I've watched YouTube, but I've never studied it, right? I've never thought about it in my own channel. And so it's cool to hear, but I agree, man. The one name that comes to mind for me, being a Michigan guy, right, is J&A. I love their content. You know, I've gotten to know those guys a little bit. I've had them both on, and they're both been super cool to me and, you know, very nice to me and helped me out. But they are dedicated to their craft, and they make very, very good content that I think doesn't, you know, it's not on Grant's level, but
J&A is a great example. Is like, you know, I love those guys too. Like I'm good buddies with both of them. I talk to both of them a lot, but like, I mean, they've had great videos. They've had not good videos. Their great videos have gotten a lot of views. Like the thing I like about J&A is they are YouTube nerds and they're learning and they're trying and they're going. They're just going through a process like anyone has to go through where it's like, they're not underrated. Like just because you know how to film on nice cameras and edit nicely and put in nice transitions doesn't mean you have good content. That's not content. That's filming and editing. Content is the actual contents of the video. That's why I'm saying someone with an iPhone and iMovie could get 1 million views, because if their content, the actual content of the video is good, the rest of it is less important.
Yeah.
J&A has incredible production, and they have had really good content, but they're at a point right now where they're trying different things. So I think they're perfectly appropriately rated, and their videos get good amount of views for what it is, and they know that the videos that don't do well, it's not a good video. Like, if you've been YouTubing long enough, like, none of us sit here and like ever think that we're getting cheated by the system if our videos don't do well. It's like, oh, okay, that's not a good video. But like, even someone who's been doing it as long as me, like, I'll still have 10 of 10s, like videos that don't do well.
Yeah.
But it's just because, like, the whole point of the whole name of the game is we do have to keep trying new things and innovating.
Yeah.
But we're always going to be guessing a little bit, and then we learn from that. So, you know, they have videos that do well. They have videos that don't do well. It's kind of like the rest of us. They don't deserve anything more than they have. They're appropriately, you know, judged by the audience right now. So just like everyone else.
Yeah. Are there any channels? Obviously, we talked about Grant, Brian Bros, but are there any channels that you think that are maybe a little smaller right now that are going to take off this year? Like some that are not as well known, like a J&A, for example.
I don't know. We'll have to see, man. Like, it's tough to say, right? Because I don't know what their next videos are going to be. Like, you can go off.
You keep calling it.
Yeah,
I mean, you got a sixth sense.
I know a lot. Yeah, I know a lot. Yeah. But you know, I just anyone who's willing to put the work in from you know, an ideation standpoint and truly can listen to the market, aka the audience, study it, see what works, try to come up with new innovative ways to do something, not just copy what other people are already doing. Like, that's who's going to succeed, you know? And like, that's a tough answer because obviously,
it's all good.
It's not, but it's just how it is, man. Like, it could be the next huge video could come from Grant, it could come from J&A, or it could come from Jonathan Carroll in Idaho with 4 subscribers. Like, he could be the next one to post 1 million view video, you know? So,
no, it's cool. I get it, man. Like, YouTube is such a crazy world, right? I mean, there's so many different niches, and there's, I mean, you know, I know you've talked about it, but, you know, the amount of content that gets uploaded daily, I mean, it's a great problem for people who want to consume it. Unfortunately, for the creators who are making it, that is a bit of a problem, that there's kind of there's just a lot, right? It's like every day there's like 3 to 4 videos that are just really good, and you only have so much time. And I know you talked about, there has been a bit of a squeezing out process. I mean, you see it from some of these, I don't want to say like medium channels, but like, you know, medium creators. Like, a name that comes to mind for me, and this isn't a shot at him, is just another Michigan guy who I've had on, is Ashton Gollin, who hasn't, you know, I love Ashton's content. I support anyone who's a Michigan guy personally. I love being from Michigan.
Isn't he from J&A? Isn't that J&A?
No. Ashton de Blasi. Ashton Gollin, who won the Good Open with Ben Kruger.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, all good.
Ashton.
Yeah,
I know that.
I get it.
I can picture both of them in my head.
I get it. Yeah. But like, I
short
subscribe
and
to his
curly
channel
versus tall and skinny.
Exactly. But like, he did a series of like Chasing Summer, which, you know, he was highlighting essentially a bunch of cool courses here in Michigan, which was great content, but he hasn't put out a long form video in like months. Or like a guy like Ben Kruger, who I know made a living from short form content, hasn't posted a ton of long form content lately. And I don't know if that's a squeezing out process. You can see like maybe some of these creators just don't want to put the time in. Like, you got to like, and I know you mentioned that you got to constantly travel and collab, and it's expensive to get to these courses. Not everyone has a Selena like the Brian Bros where they can just invite people, and that's a great problem. You know, that's a great thing for them. But I think it's interesting that some of these creators are maybe just not doing it, or just are taking a break from that perspective.
Maybe. I mean, I don't really think it's you know, you don't need to travel and collab. That's just what a lot of the top guys are doing. But like I said, I mean, you can come up with an idea that you can do in your backyard that could get 1 million views. It's just like coming up with the idea. That's the hard part, you know? And like you said, it's like, I don't really think it's a problem for any channel that there are a lot of people putting out a lot of videos, unless you're just like not willing to try super hard or not good. And like, you know what I mean? Like, it's only a problem if your videos suck. If your videos suck, then like more people putting out good videos is going to hurt you in your videos, because there's going to be less people that watch them. But like, if you put out the best video, and like, it is tough. I get it, because like Grant collabing with Tiger is a very easy video to go well. But like, it is harder to come up with an original idea. But like, throughout the history of YouTube, there are always people coming up with original ideas that nobody saw coming, and they always, if they're good, they will always succeed and break through. So again, it's like, you know, I don't I don't think that there's too many creators. I just think that there's more pressure on the creators to create good videos than there ever was before. They could get away with, this, it was criminal what they could get away with. Like just being able to like title something like blah, blah, 2v2, blah, like a week, like match series, for example, like Sunday matches and stuff like that. Like core audiences would still love those, but like those videos have no business getting hundreds of thousands of views. Those, so it's just, it's just different.
Yeah, and I something you talked about, and something that I actually took to heart from I think it was your interview with Cole, I can't remember, but you had talked about I know you've talked about the ideation recently, on this interview, but how the ideas come. Like, you have to start from the title, right, or the thumbnail, and create the idea from that. And from somebody who, I feel like my titles are getting better, but that is obviously a huge part of it. But like coming up with a title and then creating idea from that title, right? It's crazy. Like the process that you have to go through to come up with a good idea and do stuff like that. From a titling perspective. Right? Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
I'm gonna look at some of your titles.
No, go ahead. Yeah. So when I had Ashton on DeBlasi, that was a couple of videos ago, but he had given me, we recorded like a month in advance, so he had given me some really good advice on titling and thumbnailing. So like you can see a change in my
member.
Yeah, that was his title. Yeah, that was his title. And that's my best performing video though. Like that's literally my most viewed video. And obviously he helped push it out. Like when he reposted it to his page, which helps. And obviously, but like I was thinking something around a similar title, but when he sent me that, I asked him, right? I was like, what would you title us? And he sent me that. I was like, okay, that's it, right? Like that's
good.
That's a good title.
Yeah, no, I was planning on watching it. I wasn't just ignoring you on my phone. I was looking at your titles.
Dude. I get it. I appreciate it.
But yeah, no, I think I think packaging, man, is like, it's what people see first, right? And
it's huge.
It's important to get people through, but like at the rest of YouTube, it's a learning process. You have to learn by failing. So like you're going to post that video with George and that title, and it's your job then to see how it does, and then to try to base, your analysis off of other titles that have been successful on other channels, your own titles, take bits of it, pieces of it, and then build it again in the future. But yeah, I mean, it's a process, man. It's, unless you're going to pay someone to come in and help you, come up with those title thumbnails, it's just going to be a process of
which most people don't have the money who are starting, right? That's the thing. It's like not many, like you said, YouTube's a learning process, man. I started doing this in April. I have no idea what I was doing. I just started interviewing. I mean, I had Wesley on. Wesley was like my 5th guest. I interviewed him in person here in Detroit. That video, they got like 800 views, and at the time I was like sick. But looking back on it, like I could have done so much. It was only like an 8-minute video too, so like naturally it would have done better. But like it's just a learning process, right? I've had these bigger creators on, like a Sean Walsh that did 3K views, or like a Johnny, like my Johnny from JNA video, it only did 300. But it's just like you got to learn, right? You got to learn and move forward. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time talking about like the process stuff. I don't want to bore the viewers, but because I know we've talked, I'm very interested. Like I'm a nerd, man. I love that stuff, and I can nerd out on all day. But what I want to talk about is 2025. Like I know you, like where do you see YouTube golf going? Like we're seeing more pros integrated, like the Phils, these guys on Live, Bryson, Sergio, whatever. Like what do you think YouTube golf looks like a year from now?
Hopefully a bit more story based. I think we've kind of reached a bit of a peak with like collaborations, and I think people are going to start to get sick of that, just like they get sick of anything. And I mean, Grant literally just had Tiger on, so it's like, I don't know how you get too much bigger than that. Like,
exactly.
He could get Scotty, he could get Rory, he could get Tiger for 18 holes, he could get Charlie. Like there are, Grant's probably going to tick through that. Yep. But the rest of YouTube, I think, and even Grant at some point, and we saw with what he did with Garrett, like Garrett, his channel, his personal channel, he hasn't been doing as much on in the last, few months. And so it was almost kind of like shocking to see Grant collab with him. But it's because it was story-based content, and it had like it had more to it than just the collab.
Yeah.
So I think in 2025, there will be some successes with things like that. Some maybe series-based content. I mean, series-based content doesn't do great on YouTube, but like, series in the sense of like it follows some sort of narrative across multiple videos, I'd like to see some of that, but I also think, for certain there's still going to be. I mean, Grant's literally reaching the peak of his power right now, where he can. Like, I'm telling you, he's going to have at some point. He's going to have Tiger on for 18 holes. He's going to have Scotty on for 18 holes. He's going to have Rory on for 18 holes. Like, he will go through the Mount Rushmore of golfers, current golfers. He's just that big now. So that'll happen. Well, maybe not this year, but that'll happen. And then hopefully, outside of that, it'll be some integration of more storytelling, I think.
One thing I want to talk about, you're obviously a good athlete. I think everyone's dream is to work with good. I've had the pleasure of talking to a few of those guys and had a few of them on, and they're all very, very, very nice. And I think good is, growing up, I shouldn't say growing up, but getting into YouTube golf, that's where I started. All those guys are so genuine. But talk me through, I guess we can just talk about good as a whole after, but just talk me through the apparel deal. How does that work? How does it being a good athlete work? And then I'd love to hear your thoughts on kind of just good as a whole, from where they were to where they are now to where they're going to go and continue, because they're obviously the biggest YouTube channel as a group, right, from a subscriber perspective. But I'm just curious, the apparel, and then we'll talk about them after, and then we'll do rapid fires and I'll let you go.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. It's been one of the best brand deals I've ever had, one of the best partnerships I've ever had. Just honestly, in the sense of their team behind the scenes too, the people you don't see are incredible. The people I've worked with, I've been doing this full time since 2019, and I can genuinely say, and I know a lot of people probably that won't believe me, but genuinely, they are the most professional brand I've worked with. And they also make really great products. I remember when I first got my hands on them, I was very, very, very shocked at how good they are, because of they're so big. The brand's so big that they could screen print their name on any crap from wherever and it'd be fine. But it's good quality stuff. I have 4 drawers full of polos right now, and every single one of them I've had for a year plus, and they're all in great shape. And so I do really enjoy that. It's a blessing for sure to have that type of relationship with the company, because it allows me to focus on being a creator, coming up with the ideas, being an athlete, playing in tournaments, and it just helps support all that stuff, which is all you could ever ask for being in my position. So it's been it's been an awesome ride for sure.
Did that come did you talk directly with Kendrick? I know obviously you've been with them for a while, so did you hit him up, or did he hit you up? I know because the J&A guys signed, Kendrick hit them up. So I'm just curious, how did that work from your perspective?
Yeah, it had all kind of stemmed from me going down to the $100,000 pro event they did in Arizona.
Last year,
almost 2 years ago now.
2 years ago now.
So and there was just conversations after that. I had met all the guys down there, met Kendrick, whatever, and it all kind of spiraled from there. So.
That's awesome, man. Well, talk to me about your thoughts on the group. They've obviously expanded this year, adding Blake, Melosi, Sean, J&A, obviously some departures, Quan, which feels like a whole different life ago, but I'm pretty sure that was still this year. But where do you see them going? Because, like you mentioned, they were very good on the ideation process early on. But they have since seen a decline in views, and I still love their content. I don't watch as much of it as I used to watch every video. Grant, the good old days, I used to watch every video. But I'm curious, where do you see them going? And I guess, what are your thoughts on just, where they're at right now as a brand?
I don't know. I think people will assume I know more than I do. I truly am a good athlete. I'm sponsored by the apparel company. I have no intermingling with the actual YouTube channel at all. So I really have no real insider information, but just doing it from my job perspective, the video they just put out, I would, if I was to make, we'll see how it actually goes, but the video they just put out would be a content piece I would push for them to do more of. It was I think it was $100 versus $10,000.
Yeah.
It was a very Mr. Beast style video, and I think Good is in a unique spot where they could do some of those more bigger ideas, bigger production videos, which they've done in the past. They did one of my favorite videos they put out in the last year was they did an all pro Good major.
I remember that. I love that one. That was my favorite.
That was one of my favorite YouTube videos of last year, and not just of theirs, but in general. And they have the ability to do these things that other channels can't do. And so, whether it be the $10,000 versus $100 golf vacation, whether it be, whoever does, I've talked to a lot of channels about this, but whoever is the first channel to do a last to leave video in YouTube golf and do it well, it's going to blow up. Like, it's going to be 5+ million views. Good has an opportunity to do that for sure. I think they're one of the best suited to do something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them go down more of like a Mr. Beast style route and kind of almost become like hosts of shows versus just hitting golf shots on camera.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, it's interesting to see how their content has evolved, and that was something I actually want to talk to you about earlier that I forgot, that you're seeing, and you saw it in the travel series, right? And I don't watch Mr. Beast. I don't think I've watched a single Mr. Beast video in my life. So I'm talking from my own perspective here, but like, you're seeing these guys integrate more of the vlogging side, right? I know we did it in the travel series with Grant and Garrett, where they were showing where they were staying, and you just mentioned the YouTube video, and I watched that video I think last week. I was able to watch it in full, and so seeing like the more vlogging side before we actually get into the golf content, I actually really like that. Like, from a viewer perspective, like, it keeps me engaged. Like, I have ADHD, so I'm someone who, if it's not satisfying me, I will click off of it. And so I was able to sit down and watch that video as a whole, and I agree with you. I think they should push more of that style of content. I just think it keeps videos, viewers more engaged. But I just think it's interesting. I think they're the benchmark for group content, right? You see all these big collabs, but I think you have these. They have 9 members. They're currently right now, I think half of them are in the Dominican, the other half are the TGL event tonight. So like, they can do, it's like where they're so big now, they can go to multiple locations and put out, get 20 videos and across multiple channels. So it really is cool to see their operation. I have seen kind of the back end a little bit, but not nearly as much as you. It is really cool. And I have heard that they are very fun to work with and professional, and every guy I've had on has been super cool. Like, and isn't like a douche, right? Like a Jack Doherty type person where they could have let the success go to their head, but they're just very genuine dudes. All right, man, let's do some rap fires and I'll get you out of here. I know I said 45, but we're going a little longer. So favorite golf course, and you can do like one word or whatever. We can go these wherever.
Favorite golf course like I've played?
Yeah.
Kings Links by the Sea in Delta, British Columbia.
Okay. Most prestigious golf course?
Nothing. I've never played a prestigious golf course. No, I think the most I've ever paid for a green fee would have been in Arizona. Yeah. And it was still like a muni track. It was like probably like $150. Actually, what? The most expensive green fee I ever paid was at the Weston Kierland for the Good event. This was before I was signed to them, and I played there, and I think it was like close to $200 Canadian. That's not crazy. A prestigious golf course, but I mean, yeah.
No, that's great. No, it's funny. George said Augusta when I asked him. So that's what I said. I was like, I did not know you had been out there, but it's good to know. There's a contrast. Yeah. No, if anyone wants to take me to any prestigious golf courses, I'll play with you. For sure. If you ever come through Michigan, man, I got some hookups here. I mean, nothing great. Liv is coming here. Ironically enough, Liv announced today they're doing their team championship at a really cool course about 10 minutes from here. And there's some cool golf courses in Michigan. Favorite golfer, pro side? Scotty Scheffler. Scotty. Okay. Favorite creator? Ooh.
Probably still say Casey Neistat because he's the one that got me into it.
Okay. Favorite golf creator? I don't want to get you in trouble here.
No, you're not going to get me in trouble. Wesley Bryan.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I would probably say those guys right now. They've been so nice. And
I love George too, but Wesley's my boy.
Yeah, I do love Wesley because for me, I like to shit talk. Like I grew up playing hockey, so I know. Like I love the shit talk. Yeah, I like the shit talk. Man. Yeah. Well, and not to go off, but like the thing I loved about Wesley and Phil's video was it had everything. It had the banter. Phil is so good for YouTube, and had everything. Good golf, and in my opinion, that was the best YouTube golf video of the year from my perspective. But I digress. Coolest golf moment on camera.
On camera. I don't really think I've done anything that cool. I was pretty proud of the. Actually, recently I posted a tournament video. I've been in a swing rebuild.
Oh, really?
Has been following, yeah. So
yeah, I see on Instagram.
I never had a coach for the first 2.5 years, and so my swing was, I would really extend, jump, and toss. It was just all hands.
Yeah.
So I've worked with the coach, and for the last 5 months, we've been learning how to stay down, rotate, and get in the slot, and all this kind of stuff. But I'll hit just the most ridiculous shots sometimes, bad, shank it, top it, whatever. So I had a front nine in a tournament where I cold topped 2 tee shots, and I think I shot 7 over on the front nine, and then I went out on the back nine and shot even par. It was my first time shooting even par in a tournament round, I think.
That's great, dude.
Yeah,
it's crazy that you started golf like not that long ago, and you're out here competing like 3 years. I mean, it's good. I mean, that's awesome. Like that, it shows like that you can do it. But that's awesome that you're competing in tournaments so soon after like picking up a golf club.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was good because I think that was some like resilience to like stay locked in and go fire an even par after topping 2 tee shots and shooting 7 over on the front. So.
Hey, I've been there, man. All right, last 2, and I think these are hopefully 2 of the tougher ones. But favorite video you've ever made and why?
That's a good question. Definitely one of my day in the life videos back in the CrossFit days. If I had to, I'd have to go back and like watch them to really know which one I think was the best. The one that probably comes to mind first was my buddy Pat Vellner. He's a big CrossFit athlete. I filmed with him. There's another one with Brent Fikowski, who's another top CrossFit athlete. He was a bit more of like a recluse character, so I think I had to work a little harder to get more story out of him. But those are the most like effortful videos I've ever put out, probably.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah.
All right, last one. And this one I thought of today, which I'm proud of. Top 3 videos, YouTube golf videos of the year, in your opinion.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be off the dome, so like these are going to be not overly followed, especially for someone who usually talks about YouTube golf. But, we'll put the good all pro major in there.
I did love that one.
I really did like that. I thought that was just like something different for sure. Like, I don't know if I just like generally say the types of videos that I enjoy, because I'm not like, I don't know, like I've really enjoyed Ben Haddon documenting his journey through the tour, because the mini tours, because I just think that's so fascinating. Like, as someone who takes golf seriously, it's fascinating to see that. I wouldn't say there was one of his videos that I liked the most, but that series in general, if we can do that, I would probably put that in there for me. Again, these are all personal picks. These aren't really
for sure. Yeah, that's
picks.
not like Okay.
Yeah, these are just like personal picks. And then, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's like a Grant or video that I like. Maybe like one of the. I mean, the Major Cut series probably, just because like I really enjoy. Like I said, Wesley's, when I say he's my favorite YouTuber, he's probably just like the guy I would like if I didn't know any of these people and we all just met in the streets, I think Wesley would be the one that I would get the closest with as just like a human being. And we have a great relationship. So, I enjoy any content he's in. Grant's, a dog, and I think his content's awesome. So, yeah, I'd probably say one of the Major Cuts. I don't watch all of them. They're long and the 2 parts, but like, yeah, but like at the beginning, like the Kiowa Island, I remember I watched that. I really liked that. So yeah, I'd probably. I mean, those are like I'd have to sit and think about that for a long time.
No, for sure. That's why I wanted to send you these before, but I know it's all good. I prefer it off the top of the dome. No, I
wouldn't have still been able to come up with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Wesley's awesome, man. I think that's it, guys. I don't think I have any more questions. Anything else you want? Before I sign off, I have an apparel sponsor and a couple businesses around here. But you want to plug anything? We'll link all your channels in this, your channel in the description, Instagram, all that stuff. But any last minute messages, man? Otherwise, Nate, I will let you go. And thank you for the time today, man. This has been awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm chilling, dude. I appreciate you having me on, man. It's good meeting you. Good chatting with you.
Sweet. All right, guys. Nate Edwardson Golf. Make sure you subscribe to the channel.